Is that really what it was? What it was? Okay, so YouTube has implemented a new button. So instead of hitting the live button on your streaming program device, such as OBS, I now have to hit go live on the actual web page. I don't know why they would do that. So this whole time, I do apologize, everybody. I thought that I've been live for the past 10 minutes, and my wife informed me that the page was not loading anything for the stream. And it seems to me that YouTube has now put another workaround here to prevent me from starting right away. So that is my fault. Welcome to the 10th developer message, where today we're going to be doing a live Q&A. I do apologize if anybody that was here earlier is no longer here. That's my fault on that. I did not realize that with YouTube's new live dashboard, you would have to hit go live on your recording software and then also hit go live within the browser itself. So, anyways, today we are going to be just adding some new things to the Let's Live game project because I have spent this past month transferring it to the newest version of Unreal Engine. While I do this, you guys are free to ask any questions. I'm going to be trying to showcase things that may relate to your questions. If it's something that I feel that I want to keep for later, then maybe I won't do that. Just because I don't want you guys to necessarily see everything, but I do want to answer your questions the best that I can. So for the next hour, obviously starting now from about 1:15 Eastern time till about 2:15 Eastern time, we will be just I'm just going to be working on it, adding things to the project and opening the project up and starting to manipulate some of the stuff that's here. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Uh, yeah, so I'm just going to continue doing what I was doing a minute ago while I thought everything was working. Pretty much what I'm doing here is a company by the name of Quixel Megascans has gone and released a huge free collection through Epic Games Marketplace for game developers to use within their games. And I'm currently in the process of just looking through things that may be helpful because all of this stuff that's here is supported in 4.24 and we were working in 4.20 previous to this month. Um, and most of these Megascan items are only available in 4.24, along with a lot of other things that I'm hoping to add here in the upcoming future for this game. So pretty much what I'm just doing is I'm going through here, seeing if there's some things that I may want, like, you know, the pristine metal material would be good for maybe skin options. I've already got the lush plants and stuff, so I've gone through the 80 mega scans that are available in 4.24. I think I've gotten everything that I want added to the cart that I didn't have. We'll put the moss in there too. Um, some of these things I guess I kind of have to just look at first. Fire tracks. This is all for a fantasy fort. Um, so I could use some of that stuff like the tire tracks and the railroad ties that are there. Uh, what's in the other one? Rocks, some trees, half walls. Okay, I'll do that for the half walls. We got the scary bathroom, interior tiles, snow, industrial metals. This has got like all rusty metals and stuff. This is gonna be good for our buildings. Corrugated metals. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to move this out of view screen just real fast because to check out, there's obviously information that I don't want seen. And ammo. Okay, so we've got some of that stuff in here. While we do that, I'm going to launch the newest version of the engine. Start getting this up and going. I am going to share the stream over on Twitter too because I did mess up the beginning of it. Okay, so now we've got that up and going. I shared the project. We're waiting for Unreal Engine to launch itself here. You can do it. So, this is the vehicle I was talking about earlier, in case anybody was wondering. The light vehicle pack. This is something that I have for our game, and there is like, let me see, they've got like a rescue option, so that is going to be how this vehicle will spawn, along with maybe like a covered military vehicle. We have options, obviously, and as you guys can tell from the library, there's going to be things that once the game is put into some working order, it will actually will have the opportunity and chance for updates and things like that too. So then while this opens and loads up, you're going to be able to see that I have my recent project of Let's Live here, along with the ability to open other projects. But we're just going to get right into the current project at hand. Now this may take a second because the files are obviously not compressed to the size of the actual game when it's done. I have a lot of files within here that are more or less maybe not going to be used. So there is, file space being taken up that's not relative to the actual final game. So in terms of what the game has going on for the Unreal Engine editor to open, it's got a lot of raw files that are not compressed yet to open up. Um, a lot of the files are generally around a gig or so a piece. I'm trying to think. I think the actual folder itself is like 75 or 85 gigabytes worth of files so far. So obviously it'll be smaller than that when it's done. So then while that loads and opens, let me check to make sure that the Discord has some type of notification about it. Thinking hard. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that it wouldn't take longer for it to open all of these files, especially since this is the. It's only been a handful of times that it's been open in this new version yet, so I guess maybe I should have had this open beforehand, but I like maybe should get rid of one of the backups, one of the old backups, because it's probably just a lot of duplicated space within the file. But I feel like that would be a bad idea. I don't like it. Yeah. I have a lot of backups. I have like 6 individual files or something like that are all like they're not backups of the newest version technically. Um but content bro. Oh, it's I don't want it there. Probably. I mean, probs, but yeah, I'm gonna shrink that up a little bit. You don't need to see all. Um. So then, what? Yeah.
When I'm playing the little alchemy game.
Oh, okay.
And it has music to it, and I started playing music, and I'm like, I can't this.
So let's see. I don't think. Maybe I did. I wish that the. Okay, so the Mega Scans Meadow set. Which is not necessarily what I want to implement in here, but the vehicle set, that is something that we need to look at. So the vehicles need to be coded, and I need to put them out here and make sure that they're scale with the Unreal model, because if they're not, I'm going to have to scale them right. I mean, I would think they are, because there's a video that I have to watch to do the C++ coding on it. And like he actually drives them around and whatnot, but you can never be too precautious, right? So I'm gonna load one of each vehicle in here just to make sure that they're of the right scale. That's very promising right off the bat. Just the way it looks. So let's see. I should maybe put. Okay, I'm gonna delete this actually because I'm gonna put. There seems to be blueprints in here, and I don't know why there would be blueprints in here unless they're already a drivable, operatable vehicle. So let me. I'm gonna put the blueprint versions out here. The. I'm sure there's probably not a code on the blueprint for an easy enter and exit, but we'll see. So, okay, we've placed the hatchback. The camera, if these are actual ones that work, the camera angles are gonna have to be changed. Because nobody wants to look like straight on at the back bumper of their car while they're driving.
No.
It might be the only reason I can see there being something good about it is that there would be a view like disadvantage to the driver, because I feel like drivers have like a really easy time spotting people. Um but it would be really hard to drive. So um, okay. That's all compiled here. Man. That for sure you could fit this character in. This is maybe a little bit too small.
Sports car.
Truck, I think, is the pickup truck, I think, may be a little bit too small. Oh man, I got it rolling.
Oh yeah.
I got it rolling. I didn't even have to get in it. Master driver.
Wow.
Man, look at that. Physics. Alright. Well, the physics are going to have to get fixed on that.
God.
Giant. Just a giant in the industry.
Oh.
Scaling these shouldn't be that big of a deal. The reason I can push these cars so easily is because I think the character push physic is like way higher than it should be, which I'll have to just turn down.
Because he's huge.
So I'm gonna just take, this is like the smallest car. Yeah, that's too big. I can already tell that's too big. Okay, so 1.5 times. Let's see. Still looks pretty big to me. But we'll just see. So probably 1.25 is like the accurate scale. I got that. That's 1.5.
Okay. That's better.
It still seems a little bit big. That's more accurate, I feel. Can't jump onto the roof. Alright, let's just, I'm gonna try and, trust me, I know that the physics were not in working order. Trust me, I know that. Thanks. Oh no, not 12.5.
Oh, dang.
That's more accurate. Oh shit. Alright. Well, gonna have to fix the physics on those. Um.
Oh.
Oh wow. Okay, so they got the chassis as an individual thing. There are customization options on the. And so there was an option. Their appearance can be damaged, so that's. I'm sure if you just shot a clip at it, though, it wouldn't do anything. Got to do all the coding for that first. Okay, so then, other than that, I'm gonna have to reopen the Epic Games launcher to get into the library with the mega scans and start adding those individually. And in factory material stuff, gotta add the damages there for sure. Crumpled walls. Industrial metals. And so, okay, I've got a few of them queued. I'm not gonna load any more into there right now because Unreal Engine generally has a hard time uploading more than a few of them. Maybe it's different in 4.24. That was not the case in 4.20 when I was using that one. So I'm just gonna stay on the path of what I was doing before to make sure nothing goes wrong. So there's some other things in here I'm gonna add. Just gotta give it the time to do what it's gotta do. So the first one of the mega scans is already done because it was just simple. And add another one. Hella files. Plenty of files. See, this is what the development has gotten to pretty much is adding files and then implementing them the way I want to. Especially since I've transferred this over to a new version of the game engine. A lot of it is just letting it transfer appropriately, making sure that nothing goes wrong, it doesn't error out. Um, and this is just gonna obviously make the stability of the game better with it being in a new version. There's less errors in the newest version of this engine, so I'll have less issues in terms of developing, updating, and adding new things to it. Yeah, which will obviously make the experience for everybody else a lot better, in my opinion. Obviously, we want everything to be easier all the way around since there is a limited amount of people that are and slash will be working on it if the game continues to grow and be successful. Yeah, the goal obviously is to make the game as refined as humanly possible while also still making sure that there's room for easy updates to keep it fresh and interesting and entertaining as it continues to be out of its release.
Right.
I really want like all of the mechanics and stuff to just kind of be refined and finished as the game comes out, and then it's just a matter of like fun and interesting content to keep the activity going as it goes out. So we'll just have to see, obviously, as time goes on, and once the game actually comes out, how many people will actually enjoy it. Um, I still have a lot of work to do on it, unfortunately. Uh, as I continue to look at it, I see that there's still a lot of things that I need to do to make it be where I want it to be at. And fortunately, I've had a lot of things done in a fast pace, so that still shortens the time, but there's still going to be time before everything here is completely finished. I think what I may do is I'm gonna limit the what will actually come out in the actual release. There's probably going to be only 4 weapons and maybe 1 or 2 vehicles in the release of the game, just so that it can get out there and people can really just start playing and enjoying it. The big thing is that the map obviously has to be finished and there needs to be no issues with the map and the way that the map is working, and then moving forward making sure that all of the animations and loading into servers and everything else connects. I think once all of that's done, I will have 4 weapons that can be used at the beginning of the game, 2 vehicles in order for you guys to, transport yourselves across the map, along with making sure the build mechanics are the way that they need to be. Then we'll work on releasing into alpha slash beta testing, and then once everybody has given their feedback on any possible problems they walk into or issues that they may find for anybody that may be part of that, we'll do our best to fix those. And then honestly, I think I'll probably do the standard thing that most companies are doing is they just kind of leave things in a pre-alpha or beta version, so that I can just kind of keep updating and I guess perfecting the craft, if that's what you want to call it, but perfecting the gameplay is the goal here. Um, so once that's done, what's up, Boss Nage? Sorry, I'm just kind of talking a little bit here about what the upcoming future for everything is for this, and what the like immediate release date ideas are kind of looking to be. So the immediate release date idea is going to be us getting this out with at least 4 weapons and 2 vehicles in mind, and all the build mechanics the way everybody wants. And then from there, it'll update with more weapons, more vehicles, more things for people to do, in-game items, in-game missions, maybe, or quests. Because the poll that we put up on Twitter asking like, would people rather have me put up like a skeleton of the game and update it as it needs to, or like release it when it's refined, it was pretty 50-50, which generally is not like a deciding factor. But I could sit here all day for years trying to quote unquote refine this and make it the way I think it should be. And I think it's just best to release it in a half state of exactly what I think I want it to be, and then see kind of one, how it goes in the community's hands with problems, bugs, and fixes, but two, in the community's opinion of like what they'd like to see in the future. Because obviously the idea here is to make a game that replaces the hole that Just Survive left behind. But at the same time, this is something that I've been working on. I've put a lot of time into, and I don't want it to be mistaken as uh, yeah, a sequel, a sister story, a remake, or anything like that. It is its own thing, and it has to be its own thing. So that's something that continuing on, will have to happen. And I think the best way to kind of do that is I start with what I wanted for it, and then kind of let the community take off with it. So we're just kind of adding some items here from the Megascans queue because I've updated the project from engine 4.20 to 4.24, which is obviously the newest one, which allows me to add a bunch of new things to make the map more. I'm trying to like not triple A quality the map, but I'm trying to make it look as good as humanly possible by a single person. And I'm really trying to just give it as good of a realistic and I said the word earlier and I'm drawing a blank on it now. I can't remember. I guess uniqueness. I want it should resemble some type of realism, obviously. So right now the Megascans industrial metal material pack is getting added in, and it's 26 gigabytes. So actually, I'm gonna cancel that one because that one's huge. I'll save that one for later. Um, no need to even worry about the rusty metals right now. I'm gonna add this post-apocalyptic material. Hopefully, it's not a huge thing to put in here. I guess while it's doing that, I could work in the engine instead of sitting here. So we got the Megascans, crumbled walls. They got the 3D assets in here. This will be very helpful. The damage decals are in here now. I also have plastic containers, which will be used for models and props that you'll be able to use within the game. Like, you don't necessarily drag instead. So they'll be like, muddy containers. I already have some pre-done containers, but these are, going to be a little bit more helpful in terms of having a higher quality texture. They've got dirty oil containers. I don't know why some of them state that they're like not dirty and dirty because they all look dirty. From the screen that I'm looking at, they all pretty much look dirty. But yeah. Okay, so since nobody has asked any questions yet, I'm assuming that it's just either people were thrown off by the error from me not understanding the new way of the YouTube dashboard, and now nobody's here or what. Completely understandable, not a big deal. But I do know that Boss Nage did have a question from the previous developer message, about the vertical, I guess the vertical recoil on some of the weapons. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to load in here. I do apologize if there's a bit of a reverb on sound from hearing me pick things up. And so what I'll do is I'm going to take this AR here, and we're going to just go over to this truck. And so I'm not moving my mouse. I'm just staying in ADS, and I'm going to click and just click like in succession a little bit to see how it climbs. So that's the climb vertically, and the way that the bullet recoil goes left and right is all dependent on the sway of your character's arm. If your character's arm is swaying like to the left as you shoot, it's gonna like then recoil up into the left. If your character is swaying to the right while you're shooting, it's gonna recoil up into the right. That's just kind of like not necessarily my idea in initially, but after being at gun ranges and thinking about how I breathe and stuff while I do that, that is kind of how I saw it. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but that's the vertical recoil that I'm kind of mimicking. And then as you fire faster, you can see it continues to go up, and then depending on the sway, left or right. Now when we get into a machine gun, that's gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be similar to that, but obviously like on a much faster scale. I don't even think. That's as close as I could get it. Now, wow, I did an arrow on accident. Okay, so the other thing here is the shotgun. I think the shotgun, like, the big question is the spread between aiming the shotgun down sight and having it from the hip. So when it comes to aiming at the hip from, I guess we'll say maybe like a car length, 2 car lengths away, that's the spread. And I still need to put the bullet impacts on that. But so that's the spread. Aiming down sights. Is still pretty wide, but in a sense that it's coming in a more refined conical shape. This one takes up almost from top to bottom. This one never goes above halfway. Now in terms of how that works up close, there's the 2 patterns. You can see that almost every one of them overlap each other, and then these ones are actually spread out. From the hip. Zoomed in. They're pretty close to similar. I don't feel like if you're gonna be zoomed in, because here's the deal. I don't care what anybody says. Firing a shotgun, just because you're aiming down sight, does not change the spread of the shotgun spray. You aiming down sights has nothing to do with changing the spread of a shotgun. The shotgun spread will always be the same. The only difference that may change in the spread of a shotgun is how much you swing left and right while you're trying to spray it. That's in all reality. If you take a shotgun and just think about it like this, okay? Remove yourself from the equation. Now there's just a shotgun sitting on a pedestal that can pull the trigger just by you telling it to. Make it subjective. You tell the shotgun that you're aiming down sights, and then you make this thing pull the trigger. Then the next time you tell the shotgun, I'm firing from the hip, and you make this thing pull the trigger. The spread is gonna be the exact same each time in realistic sense. So like a spread from aiming down sights to aiming from the hip is not gonna generally change. Now your accuracy will change. That's for sure. You being accurate will definitely change, but that has nothing to do with what the bullets are doing coming out of the gun. So there is a slight spread that changes when you aim down sights, but I didn't make it very drastic like how some games do, where you aim down sights and all of a sudden the shotgun becomes a sniper rifle. That's just not going to happen here. It's not. I'm sorry. Other than that, you guys have seen the furnace. I don't necessarily think that there was other questions from the previous video. I can look real fast just to check. So from the 9-month message, we got J Daddy the Truth saying he's always super pumped. Keep up the grind. Okay, so there's no question there, but I do appreciate the nice comment. And then another user, unfortunately, it's in a foreign language that I think, anyways, but they did write in English saying another nice comment, and I do appreciate that too. I swear to God, I thought maybe it's in the 8-month that, okay, so there's some questions here that I'm just going to answer from the 8-month developer message. I know that I've written to them in response, but just for anybody that may actually have these questions that haven't seen these comments, somebody asked, why not make a download link so that we can test the game if there are bugs? Also, in brackets, keep it up. The main reason there's not a download link, obviously, is because the game's not ready to be tested yet. As soon as the game is ready to be tested, there will be some way of you guys being able to get a hold of it if you're interested in alpha or beta testing it. Please make sure to email your interests to letslivegame@gmail.com, letting me know that you're interested in alpha or beta testing so that I'm aware of it when time comes. And then also, you know, we'll do something to work it out so most of the people within the community, as long as I can do something about it, will be able to be a part of that. Another question. So Boss Age actually had 2, which was the bullet recoil. So I did that one, and he feels like the headshot without a helmet should be a one-shot with every gun. And that is very true. We are, you know, planning to make this game have a sense of realism. There's not going to be any type of crazy like shields or anything that defend you. You will have just like standard armor that you would have in the real world. And obviously, if you get shot in the head once, you're dead. So I think that's pretty astute and sound logic that any gun that shoots you in the head without a helmet should probably just kill you right away. So I'm going to change the damage for that in all of the game mechanics for the weapon so far, because I haven't done that yet, but I will definitely make sure to do that. And then we also have one from Celine that says, if other players have found blueprints, can the player that kills/loot that player get all of their blueprints, or will all blueprints only be learned in the world, not from looting fellow players? Also, if you die, will you retain learned blueprints from your previous life/lives? Good question, because I know that when you played Just Survive, you did actually have to learn certain things that you could craft. Like you had to combine items that you had already found within the world and learn that those items would actually make, like, if you wanted to make a metal gate, you needed to have wood, metal, a hinge, and screws. And that would make a metal gate for you, and you actually had to do that through a tab called Discovery. I think that that is counterproductive to the idea of active playing, because what that is people sitting in their menu, mix and matching items that they have, trying to find things that work. I think what's going to happen is the blueprint is an item you guys are always going to be able to have. It's like something that just instantly spawns on your character, more or less. There is going to be an option for you to be able to craft more blueprints than the one that you're carrying. Because in order for you to build, you will need to carry that blueprint. The blueprint is an item that you need to actually have in order to do your base building. Within that blueprint, everything for your base building is already going to be there. You're going to know what you can and cannot build in terms of limitations, and you'll be able to know what materials you'll need right off the bat. I think that that is the best way to keep active playing going and keeping a strong forward movement in terms of people staying out of their bases, looting, trying to find other people to play against, and things of that nature, instead of taking a good part of one of their days or a few part of their days learning items that they need to still learn to create. So right off the bat, you guys will already know everything that will be craftable within the world, and just need to find the items necessary to craft those. Whether it's looting them, whether it's making other items to make a bigger item, all of those things will obviously be within the blueprint. And then, like I said, you'll spawn with that blueprint, so nobody will necessarily learn anything new from stealing your blueprint. The only benefit that they'll have is if they kill you and they didn't have a blueprint, they will now have one in order to do base building with. That is the one, I guess, downfall, is if you were, starting off and you decided to drop your blueprint, you kind of need a blueprint to make one, which may be something that I need to find a workaround for. But maybe that's just something that will be a spawnable item too. Blueprints will just be a spawnable item that you can find while you're looting, and then from there you can then do your base building. So that's the idea behind the blueprints. Everything is just going to be already there and accessible. There's not going to be anything that somebody does or doesn't have in terms of knowledge of crafting over another player. It's all going to be out in the open for everybody, and it's just a matter of who wants to build what, or who wants to loot what materials to build that item, is pretty much what it's going to be. So you probably will find blueprints strewed all over the map, honestly. There'll probably be an item that will be all over the place, but better to have it than to not have enough of it, and then people complain that they can't even build their base while they play. So those are pretty much the questions that people have had most recently. Some other questions that I think a lot of people have that are just kind of common that I just want to readdress again is like people asking when the game might be out, when can they play it. I think the general consensus of people excited for a game is they just really want to know when they can play it, and I still don't have like a release date for it. At the current time, I can tell you what I need to do to get it to a point where I would want to be able to release it to you guys, which is having it so that instead of the epic mannequin, there's at least a male character or female character that is there. Maybe character selection will not be something that happens right off the bat and everybody kind of runs around with the exact same character for a little bit. If that doesn't bother anybody, then I have no problem doing that either. It really depends on. I don't want people kind of like having me release this as a skeleton and then have other people be like, oh, this game is so basic. This game doesn't really have anything going on new with it. I want there to be enough right away to keep people interested while I add things to it. So the bare bones minimum is there needs to be a working character, loading into servers, making sure that you guys have at least 2 working vehicles. And I think what we're going to do is off the bat is we might do the pickup truck and the hatchback. You'll only have a 2-seater in the hatchback and a 4-seater in the pickup truck, and then 4 weapons, which at the time we have 3, which is the AR, the pistol, and the shotgun. This shotgun is going to get replaced with a pump action shotgun. We're not going to keep this stockless like SPAS 12 that I have here. And then we're going to include a sniper rifle. So the 4 weapons to expect in the beginning of the game is an AR, a sniper rifle, a pump shotgun, and a pistol. From there, we have food items, we have health items, we have enough world items off the bat to get you guys going. I do want to mess with the build mechanics a little bit to make them better, because I think they can be better still. And then once we have that, I think that's it. Then I would feel comfortable with starting to talk about creating a beta release date of some sort, or an alpha release date of some sort. So over the next few months, obviously with the situation kind of happening at hand in real life, I hope all of you guys are safe, washing your hands, staying clean, staying home. If do what you guys can. Obviously, we're doing the best that we can as well. That may inhibit us from being able to do certain things, or being able to acquire certain things for this game at this certain point in time. But you got to do what you got to do to survive. As we all know from loving survival games and building survival games, that is the main objective: surviving. So I hope you guys are all okay. I hope you guys are all healthy and safe. Do yourself a favor and just stay home and do what you guys can to just mull over the next, couple weeks or months or whatever. We're going to do our best to do the same, while also trying to bring you guys new updates for this. And maybe if we're lucky, if for some reason we're all still in quarantine in a few months from now, maybe you guys will be lucky and you guys will have a new quarantine type game to play. Fingers crossed. Not promising anything yet, but I want you guys to have hopes, because obviously I'm excited for this, and I think if you guys are okay with what I've projected right now as like the bare minimums that I would accept to release, if you guys are okay with that, then I think that might be something we move forward with. So with that all being said, we are going to wrap up this Q&A. I do apologize for the error at the beginning of the stream. Moving forward, if I do something like this, I'll definitely, I don't know, take a seminar on how to stream on YouTube, because they keep changing their dashboard. But anyways, it's here. It's available for you guys. It's not going to be taken down. You guys can watch it if you want. Make sure if you're new, you subscribe here. Follow us over at Let's Live Game at Twitter. That's the 2 places where you get the most updates. I try and update the Twitter page at least a couple times a month right now, while things are a little bit slow. And then there's always a developer message every month here on the YouTube channel. With that being said, I really do appreciate everybody that's supporting the game. I do apologize that things are starting to get into a more slower fashion with this, but obviously we're getting to the more important things in the development. The map, making everything work within the map were really huge steps that I wanted to get done and over with, because now it's just a matter of like kind of logistics, to be honest. Making servers work, connecting to an online game store that would want the game, or that would be willing to have me release it there, making sure that there's no bugs within the game itself, and refining everything and putting all of the working models to all of the coding. So, I mean, in my opinion, I still think we're way ahead of schedule, especially if I'm going to release it with 2 cars, 4 weapons, and maybe 2 or 1 character for the time being. I think we're doing really good. I think if that's your guys' expectation for the initial release, I think that's great. So, thanks again. I do apologize for the error and the hiccups at the beginning, but I will see you guys soon. If you guys have any questions, you can always at the Twitter page with questions, or you can also send your questions to the email, which is let'slivegame@gmail.com. With that being said, have a good weekend and stay clean, everybody. Goodbye.